What's up next?
The last one today is from Max Zwach. Hey, John, I woke up to the news from The Hollywood Reporter that Disney has made an agreement with Comcast to acquire the full rights to Hulu by 2024. This is interesting, but will Disney be able to balance two of the largest streaming platforms? What do you make of this news?
Yeah, so this actually dropped kind of yesterday while we were doing the John Campea Show yesterday. Now, look, Disney has always been one of the owners of Hulu. They've been one of the owners of Hulu forever, along with Fox, along with Comcast, and a few other interested parties. Now, once Disney took over Fox, that made them the controlling, they own the controlling interest in it, with Comcast being a minority owner. I didn't think Comcast would sell off their shares because why bother? Like, why would you sell off your shares? If Disney's going to put money into this thing and make money for you, why not just hold on to your ownership and collect some sweet Disney money? But then somebody reminded me the other day, John, what you're not taking into consideration here is that Comcast have plans to create and run their own competing streaming service. Ergo, that creates a conflict of interest. They've got to come up with a way to separate this out. And I'm like, oh, you're right. I hadn't thought about that. It's a great point. So that's looking like what's exactly happening. Here's the actual report that came out of Variety. Disney will assume full operational control of Hulu effective immediately. So right now they're in charge of everything. Disney is in 100% control of Hulu right now. Within 5 years, so not yet, but within 5 years, Comcast has agreed to sell its Hulu stake. So Comcast still has an ownership right in the company, but within 5 years, they've agreed to sell its Hulu stake to Disney for at least $5.8 billion. We'll talk more about that in a second because they're getting a really good price for that. Under the deal, Comcast will continue to license content to Hulu through late 2024. However, as soon as next year, NBC Universal will have the right to pull back programming previously licensed exclusively to Hulu, continuing to make it available to Hulu on a non-exclusive basis for a reduced licensing fee. That basically means that, yeah, Hulu can still show some Universal programs, but it doesn't get to be the only home of those programs now. Now Universal can have those shows on other networks as well. So it's a non-exclusive basis. And by 2022, NBC Universal will have the right to cancel most of its content licensing agreements with Hulu. Now you may be wondering, wait a minute, it says but 2024, now 2022. They can cancel those agreements 2022 and then play out the remaining of the contract to the end of 2024. So Rob, this is a major shift. Now we knew for a long time that Hulu did play a part of Disney's overall new streaming strategy. We've heard Bob Iger talk about the fact that it's not just Disney Plus that's the center hub of their streaming strategy, although it is the center hub. But he's always talked about the programming we can put on Hulu and what can we do to differentiate our stuff that we don't feel safe putting on a Disney Plus, but we do want to have streaming, can go there. This just kind of solidifies it. And by the way, if you take this into consideration as a part of Disney's overall strategy, that really means ultimately that $71 billion that they paid to get Fox and put themselves in position, you can effectively add $6 more billion to that. Now it's like $76 billion that they've had to put out on the table in order to get everything to where they want it to be. The pro, though, is that all the pieces are in place now. The board is set. They're ready to start moving forward and doing things, and they have everything in order that they want to do. Whether or not it'll work, we're going to have to wait and see. But Rob, you heard this news. Was this surprising to you? Does this make total sense? Do you think Disney is maybe overvaluing their stake in Hulu? Do you think maybe it's not enough? What do you think about all this?
Well, first of all, I was wondering, like you were pointing out, what are they going to do with Fox's catalogs of shows and movies and things that I was like, are they going to put them on Disney Plus and have a special? Hulu is the answer. Hulu is the answer. They've bought this incredible library of films that goes back decades, television shows. They've got all kinds of content, and Hulu already has a brand that isn't necessarily going to dilute or worry anybody. Like parents don't have to worry about, well, if I buy Disney Plus, are my kids going to watch Alien movies? I don't think so. I think this is a perfect way to have a brand that people already know and actually like. Like, I like Hulu. I like when I log into Hulu, there's the logo and the sound it makes. I mean, Hulu's kind of like a warm friend, and it's already a brand that we like, and they've got the programming. I think it was a really shrewd move on Disney's part. They take it all over. They can have non-exclusive content from other people. It's an incredible move, and there's an infrastructure that's already built. However, correct me if I'm wrong, I don't think Hulu's has an international presence yet.
I believe you are correct.
So what Hulu's, I think what they're going to do next, and what you're going to see them, I think, aggressively do, is push Hulu out into the rest of the world. I could be wrong. I don't have any real insight into this, but I would think that would be the case. But leaping from a position that already exists, as opposed to having to build an all-new infrastructure, an all-new channel with no brand name, is probably a lot more desirable. It's something they already have. Now they've taken it over, and I think they're really going to make it work for them, and I think it's exciting.
Now,
I like Hulu.
We do know. I love Hulu, too, actually. It's kind of been my main go-to for a while. We've known for a while that some of Fox library is going to end up on Disney+. For example, we already know that the entire catalog of The Simpsons is going to end up on Disney+. There's probably going to be some others, but there's probably going to be some stuff like, what was the show they just canceled about the vampires?
The Passage,
which, by the way, I did watch The Passage. I thought it was pretty interesting. I kind of liked it. Canceled after one season. But here you go. You got an episode of television. Where do we put it? You probably don't put that on Disney+. But if you want to put it somewhere, you're right, Rob, 100%. You got this other option now, Hulu, that you can, by the way, run with its own creative team to still create its own original content and stuff like that. You can have multiple teams creating different content. And this is a really forward-thinking decision, I think, by Disney. And I'll tell you what else. I'm excited to see what NBC Universal comes up with their streaming program, because they have got one hell of a library. And it's going to be really neat to see these things going. What's exciting about the NBC Universal one is that it's going to be free. It's going to be ad-supported, which I think is going to be attractive to a lot of people. So we'll kind of see how all that works out. All right, guys, what do you think about this whole thing? Disney taking over Hulu? Do you think this is a good strategy on their part? I do. Maybe you feel differently. Let me know why you feel differently. I can have my mind changed. Jump down in the comment section below and let me know your thoughts.